So welcome back now to the third part of this week's Coffee and Heroes show. It's the weekly look at my pull list, which of course is absolutely massive this week. Tons of great stuff to get through, a lot of great indie stuff. Obviously the DC pull list is a little bit bigger this week due to the issues last week with things shipping on time. And then a few Marvel titles thrown in for just good measure. So I'm just going to pull out a good selection here and take you through what I have. You may see a few variants through here as well. So give me a little hug first of all. So first up we have Casual Fling number 4. So as Paddy puts it, this is my porn comic. I prefer adult thriller. This is by Jason Starr and Dalibor Talahich. Really great little AWA title, just 4 issues long. This is actually the finale, and this is actually one of my most anticipated titles this week. We have the next part of Salman Ahmed and Sami Cavella's Abbott 1973, I believe also the final issue of this. This has been a great sort of magic-based title set in a reality where, there's a lot of racial inequality and so forth, but it's got those great fantasy elements to it as well, and it's been really, really solid so far. That's from Boom Studios. One title I'm glad is back this week is Ascender. So Ascender was the follow-up to Descender by the great team of Jeff Lemire and Dustin Wayne. And this is a brilliant title. I mean, Descender was all about technology. Ascender's all about magic. So really good so far. 15 issues into that. We have all the trades of that in store. It's one of those titles I really enjoy, so I wanted to make sure that we have it for anybody coming to it late. So next up we have Blade Runner Origins. So I have Keith to thank for putting me onto this. This is set in a pre-Blade Runner world and is obviously by the title Origins. You may have worked that out. But yeah, it's been really, really good so far. I've let the first 3 pile up and then I read those all back to back. So looking forward to tucking into number 4. This is a new title this week. This is written by Christopher Cantwell, which is what drew me to it. Well known recently for writing the Doctor Doom title. He's been writing Iron Man. And this is a Vault Comics title called The Blue Flame. So some sci-fi black hole singularity type stuff to jump into there. Another AWA title to look forward to. We have Chariot from Brian Edward Hill, art by Priscilla Parates. And this is issue 3 of 5. So your synthwave thriller. Drive meets Knight Rider. More do you need to know. Cult of Dracula from Sourcepoint Press, which I read the first issue, wasn't overly enamored with, but the reason I've stuck with this is because I collect Shannon Meyer covers, who is the cover artist on this. Usually Shannon Meyer covers are the kind of covers that are store exclusives or, ratio variants, but with this title, they're just traditional cover B, so it seemed a waste not to. Next up, Department of Truth. So it continues to be one of our favorite titles. James Tynion IV, Martin Simmons. This is just a great title. Anyone who loves the X-Files, anyone who loves conspiracy stuff, they need to be on this. The first trade is available in stores, so do pick it up if you fancy a really good adult thriller with conspiracy overtones. Of course, I have to show off a couple of variants as well. We have Michael Avan Oeming doing this variant cover for Department of Truth. And then we have another one which is actually an homage to a Studio Ghibli movie. 2 points if you know the movie that it's actually referencing. So yeah, really cool cover C for that as well. Next up we have Haha, which is the W. Maxwell Prince anthology series. Different artist each time, different story each time. And this one I'm looking forward to. It's Gabriel H. Walta on art duties, who was Tom Keen's artist for The Vision. So look forward to that as always. I Breathe the Body, which has been a great aftershock horror title all about the dangers of social media and getting lost within, chasing online likes or, comments or retweets or all that kind of stuff. It's all about the dangerous price of online fame, and that's been great so far. I think that might be the last issue, so again, we're hitting trade territory. One of my favorite titles is back this week as well, Philadelphia number 13. So the first 2 trades are available, both in store, we try to keep them in stock at all times. This is a really great vampire story from Rodney Barnes and also from Jason Sean Alexander. Apparently there's a lot of big Philadelphia news this year, TV adaptations, the world is getting bigger. So we learned from our conversations with Rodney and with Jason through the podcast. Of course, the cover A is never just enough, so of course I needed the cover B, but look at that from David Mack. Absolutely glorious variant cover for Philadelphia. Let's grab another few out here. As you can see, it's a big week. Next up from Jeremy Holt and George Schall, we have Made in Korea. I must be honest, I don't know an awful lot about this, but it's an image number 1. I'm in. So I will report back with my findings next week. Next up we have the Old Guard, Tales Through Time. So with this one, it's a case of different creators each time telling individual stories of Old Guard. So I can see with this one, we've got Kelly Sue DeConnick, we've got Valentin Delandro, we've got Mike Henderson. So there's some really good talent in there. This is issue 2 of 6. Gonna run out of space here. Shadecraft number 3. So I've talked at great length about how great Shadecraft is. The first issue is absolutely wonderful. This is from Joe Henderson and Lee Garbey. Great horror title, that one. Very Stranger Things-y vibes to that. Another one of my favourites back this week, Something is Killing the Children. So that, of course, is once again James Tynion IV and Werther Dell'Edera on art. So this has been promised to be a big issue, which is going to go into the origin story of Erica Slaughter, our main protagonist. But it's also described as a jumping on point for new readers. So I would imagine there'll be tons of references to previous arcs. I do think there's no substitute for going back and reading those original arcs, but a good jumping on point in indie books doesn't happen that often, so this might be a good chance to jump on that. And of course I needed a variant cover as well. Jenny Frisson, one of my favourite variant artists, doing a beautiful one of Erica Slaughter just there. Next up we have John Arcudi and Gianni Giangiordano's Two Moons. So this is your Revolutionary War werewolf type title. Been really, really sweet so far. Next up is Witchblood from Vault Comics. This is a series that I really, really enjoyed the first issue of. Really enjoyed the second issue of. It's a witchy tale, but it's got a little bit of tongue-in-cheek and a good bit of humour to it as well. Onto the DC side of things, so the best stuff, of course. We have Batman Black and White number 6, first of all. Took me a while to realise what was going on in this cover, because this is a John Romita Jr. cover. Loves drawing characters in the rain. We have a Nightwing around here somewhere, signed by him. But you can just see the outline of Batman crouching down there. But what makes this cover really cool is you can just see Batman's reflection just in the corner there. So always enjoy Batman Black and White. I believe there's a Scott Snyder story in it this issue as well. Next up is Gene Luen Yang's Batman Superman. And this is with Ivan Rice on art. And this has been great so far. It's never easy taking over from someone like Joshua Williamson for a main title, but that has been great so far. Detective Comics 1036, so we're continuing on with the great stuff from Mariko Tamaki and Dan Mora. I always go for the variants with Detective Comics. Lee Bermejo is pretty much a stalwart on Detective Comics variants at the moment. Next up we have The Flash. So we've been enjoying The Flash so far. It's pretty much Quantum Leap meets The Flash. So it's been really, really cool so far. It's been focusing predominantly on Wally West as well, so that can only be a good thing. A couple of larger ones this week. We have the next issue of The Last Ronin. So TMNT, The Last Ronin. We're up to issue 3. This one's actually a 1-to-10 variant by Freddie Williams II. We do have another one of these in store as well, so if you prefer this to the main cover, it is a wee bit more expensive. It's a couple of pounds more expensive, but beautiful cover. Can't go wrong. Another big one we have is John Ridley's Other History of the DC Universe. So we're getting up to number 4 on that. Looks like we're going to be tackling the question in this issue. Giuseppe Camuncoli on art for that one. This is such a big week. Even for me, and that really is saying something. Next up we have Stephanie Phillips and Riley Rossmo's Harley Quinn. Didn't expect to like this as a title, but I've spoken on here before about how well Harley's being handled recently. Ever since Harleen, ever since Curse of the White Knight, and Harley's been great in this so far. So really strong start to Harley Quinn, 3 issues in. We have the next issue of Brian Michael Bendis and David Marquez's Justice League. This hasn't massively grabbed me so far, but I love the backup stories by Ram V for the Justice League Dark, which gets so little, like, this wee tiny thing at the bottom. That should be up there, and this should be down there, and this should be a Justice League Dark title. Call me DC if you need any advice on that. A new one coming out is Legends of the Dark Knight. So this is the a very famous Batman label coming back, which always deals in anthology stories. It might be 1 or 2 issue story arcs, and then on to a new creative team, new stories. We're kicking things off with Derek Robertson, co-creator of The Boys. I believe that's going to be a 3-issue storyline. A new Mr. Miracle title kicked off this week, which is Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom. So I'm looking forward to this. This is it's been very low in terms of the pre-orders. I don't think there's been the biggest of print runs for this, but I'm looking forward to it. Everyone slept on the last Mr. Miracle, which of course was Tom Keane and Mitch Gerads. So I'm hoping for more of the same here. I really enjoyed the Future State stuff with Mr. Miracle, so look forward to that. Nightwing 79 second print variant. So this is proven to be a really hot cover. And you can see why, you know, all the different ages of Dick Grayson. You also have Barbara worked in there, Alfred at the bottom as well. So if you're a little behind on Nightwing and fancy getting into it, this is probably the best way to jump in, because the first prints, they're not stupid money, but if you ask me, anything above cover price within a month or two is stupid money. The first prints are going anywhere between £7 and £10, but here we have a nice $4 reprint with a kick-ass cover. And it was good timing for that coming out this week, because we have Nightwing 80. So we're continuing on with the wonderful Tom Taylor, Bruno Redondo stuff. Again, one of my more anticipated titles this week. On top of that, we have Robin. So issue 1 of this was brilliant. It was so good. And this is from Joshua Williamson, Gleb Melnikoff on art. That was such a cliffhanger at the end of issue 1. So I'm really looking forward to going to issue 2. That'll be close to the top of the pile for me this week, just because of that cliffhanger. Next up, I'll just show you side by side, because I can't resist getting A and B every time for this. So Strange Adventures, so Tom King's Adam Strange based title, Mitch Gerads and Evan Doc Shaner on art, and then they always do a cover each month, which have a similar motif as well. So I can never decide which of the covers I prefer, so I just have to get both, because of course I do. Teen Titans Academy, next up then for us, we have, this is actually a crossover with Suicide Squad. I'm not reading Suicide Squad, so I hope it still makes complete and utter sense. Fingers crossed. But really digging Teen Titans Academy so far. Tim Sheridan, Rafa Sandoval. Another one I couldn't resist picking up a variant for. So we have Alien, number 3. So this is the Phil Kennedy Johnson and Salvador LaRocca title so far. Been really strong. But just look, I mean, that's cover A, which is a nice cover. But look at that bad boy. Oof. That is so nice. So I just can't resist a really good Aliens cover as it is, especially not when it's as good as that. That's an Adam Kubert cover, and it's just absolutely glorious. So I have a problem with variants. Beta Ray Bill next up. So we're up to issue 3 of this. This was definitely one of the best covers of the week, with Beta Ray Bill trying to put together Stormbreaker with super glue. Just a really good cover. A couple more to finish off with them. We're down to our last 3. We have Black Widow number 7. So we're continuing on with this Kelly Thompson title, which has been really strong. I enjoy a good Black Widow story. I love spy stuff. I love the genre. So digging that. We have Maestro Warren Pax, which is issue 5. So Peter David and Javier Pina. I do love a good title that has a speech bubble on the cover. It's a very old school trope, but something I really like. And in this one is, you had a good run, Maestro, but now Dystopia belongs to Doom. So I believe, again, this is the last issue, so number 5. And then, as always, it sneaks its way in here because I bring Vicky's pull list home as well. It's not mine, Star Wars Darth Vader. But I might actually jump into this War of the Bounty Hunter stuff and give it a go, because enough people whose opinion I trust are telling me that the Star Wars stuff is great at the moment, so I might just have to finally relent and jump in. So there you go, there is my tiny little pull list for the week of however many titles. A ridiculous amount is the answer. So any of those appeal to you, just as always, get in touch and let us know. You don't have to read as much as me, don't worry. But anyway, that's everything that's on my pull list this week. All available in the store, so do get in touch. So hope you enjoyed the pull list section of this week's Coffee and Hero show. Look forward to seeing you in the store, and take it easy.